Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My name is Matthew Carter, and for a long time I thought I understood the people closest to me. I had been in a relationship with Lillian for 4 years, living together for almost 3. We weren't perfect, but we had a rhythm: work, dinners, weekends with friends. I believed we were building something steady. I worked as a data analyst at Northbridge Analytics. My boss, Robert Hale, had been circling me with promises of a lead analyst role for nearly a year. He always spoke like it was just around the corner. Be patient, Matthew. End of quarter, maybe sooner. Then the date would slide again, replaced by another dangling timeline. I told myself it was corporate politics, nothing more. Looking back, there were small signals. Robert was overly comfortable around Lillian at the company holiday party, joking with her in a way that didn't sit right. She laughed, touched his arm, then brushed it off when I asked about it later. "He's just being charming," she said. I tried to believe her. The truth broke open on a quiet Sunday afternoon. I was sorting through spreadsheets on the shared laptop when a notification popped up in the corner of the screen. It was from Karen Nguyen, one of Lillian's friends. The message preview read, "He says he'll keep Matthew hungry until the rollout. Santorini will be perfect once it's over." My stomach sank. I clicked before I could talk myself out of it. The chat window opened and what I saw hollowed me out. Months of messages. Lillian and Kara trading details about her affair with Robert. Snapshots of their meetups, inside jokes at my expense, even commentary about my habits, what shirts I wore, how seriously I took my work. Kara egged her on, calling Robert a catch and mocking me as oblivious. But the part that froze me wasn't the intimacy. It was the way Robert used me like a tool. "Keep him grinding. He'll push those numbers through if he thinks the title is coming." Lillian replied, "He's predictable. We'll use the bonus for Santorini. Robert can join us there." I didn't yell. I didn't throw the laptop. Instead, everything went cold. A switch flipped. This wasn't a moment for rage. It was a moment for precision. I closed the laptop and sat in silence for a long time. The apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the fridge. Lillian was out running errands, completely unaware that I'd just watched 6 months of her secret life unravel. When my hands stopped shaking, I started working. I took screenshots of every thread, every timestamp, every snide remark. I scrolled back to the beginning and didn't stop until I had the full archive. I copied them to a cloud drive, then another, then onto a flash drive I kept in my desk at work. No detail was too small. I wasn't going to give them the chance to deny a thing. That night, I remembered Jenna Petrov, a recruiter I'd met at a data conference the year before. We'd talked briefly about opportunities in the analytics field, and she told me to reach out if I was ever looking. I opened her email and typed, "Hi Jenna, I may be ready for a change. Do you have a moment to talk this week?" Then I hit send. It was nearly 2 a.m. when I updated my resume. By the time I shut down, I had applied to 6 positions. It felt like laying bricks across a bridge I suddenly needed to cross. The next morning, Lillian padded into the kitchen in a robe, sipping coffee like nothing was wrong. She set a travel magazine on the counter, open to a glossy spread of Santorini. "Wouldn't it be nice to finally take a trip like this?" "Maybe when your bonus comes in," she said casually. I stirred my coffee and gave her a small nod. "Maybe." She didn't notice the way my eyes lingered on the page, not with longing, but with confirmation. Later that week, when she asked why I was moving boxes to the car, I said, "Just decluttering. Too much stuff lying around." She accepted it without question. She thought she was playing me. What she didn't realize was that I had already started walking away, quietly, step by step, building my exit while she flipped through travel magazines for a trip that was never going to happen. By the end of the week, interviews were stacking up. Jenna had come through quickly, setting me up with 2 companies that needed senior analysts. I kept my tone polite and professional in every conversation, but inside I was running on a steady current of ice. Signal Flux Labs called with an offer: fully remote, better title, 18% raise. I didn't hesitate. I accepted. The following Monday morning, I walked into Robert Hale's office with a plain envelope. He looked up from his monitor, smiled like we were old friends, and said, "What's on your mind, Matthew?" I placed the letter on his desk. "My resignation. 2 weeks' notice." His smile faltered. "This is sudden. We were just talking about your future here." "A better opportunity came up," I said. My tone was flat, controlled. Robert leaned back in his chair, steepling his hands. You know, I could make you team lead now. End the waiting. We'll fast-track it. Throw in a raise. 4%. That's real money. I shook my head once. No, thank you. For a moment, I saw the mask slip. Annoyance flashed across his face before the smirk returned. Suit yourself. Just don't burn bridges. I walked out without another word. That night at home, I told Lillian. She stared at me. You quit your job? Without even asking me first? Do you know what that does to our plans? The apartment? The wedding we talked about? I'll cover my share for another month, I said calmly. You'll have time to adjust. Her eyes narrowed. Unbelievable. You're acting selfish, Matthew. I looked at her evenly. Noted. The lack of reaction threw her off balance. She expected anger, a fight she could twist. Instead, she was left with silence. She didn't know it yet, but the ground under her feet was already gone. Once the resignation was in motion, my focus shifted to preparation. If I wanted this done right, I needed more than screenshots. I needed order, proof that couldn't be dismissed as jealousy or exaggeration. Every night after Lillian fell asleep, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. I compiled the chats into a single document, arranged chronologically. I added annotations, dates, times, connections to work emails, even notes linking Robert's last-minute changes to Lillian's mocking comments. One entry stood out. A Thursday night when Robert dumped an urgent project on me at 8 p.m., Kara's message to Lillian, sent just 20 minutes earlier, read, He's about to text Matthew. Keep him up all night. More free time for you tomorrow. I highlighted it and read. I didn't just want to show betrayal. I wanted to show misconduct, proof that Robert was leaking sensitive company data and manipulating employees for personal gain. I dug through email archives and found threads where he forwarded internal reports to his personal account. Side by side with the chats, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, at the office, I kept my head down. My projects were wrapped neatly, my documentation flawless. If anyone looked back on my time at Northbridge, I wanted a spotless record. The only person I trusted was Diego Alvarez, a quiet coworker who'd been at the firm longer than I. One evening after hours, I told him I was leaving. Nothing about why, just that a better opportunity came up. Diego sighed. Robert's burned through a lot of people. I've seen him play the same game, promises, then excuses. You're smart to get out now. His words were confirmation I didn't need but welcomed. Robert wasn't just cruel in private. His pattern was visible, if you knew where to look. By the time my final week arrived, the dossier was finished. A PDF, professionally formatted, labeled, and airtight. It wasn't a rant. It wasn't revenge. It was evidence. And on my calendar, marked for Friday at 3 p.m., was the exit interview with Marissa Boyd, HR director. That would be the moment everything turned. My last morning at Northbridge felt oddly normal. Someone put a tray of cupcakes in the break room with a crooked note that said, Good luck, Matthew. People shook my hand, wished me well, and went back to their screens. Robert clapped me on the shoulder. No hard feelings, he said, flashing that polished grin. The door stays open. Appreciate it, I replied, giving him nothing. At 2:55 p.m., a reminder flashed on my screen. Exit interview, Marissa Boyd. I picked up my small box, tucked my badge inside, and walked to HR. Marissa's office was bright and spare. She offered water, then opened a form. Why are you leaving? A better fit elsewhere, I said. Remote role, clear scope. She typed a few lines. Anything else we should know? I met her eyes. Yes. I took out my phone. I'm about to email you a document. It shows misconduct by Robert Hale, confidential data forwarded to a personal account, manipulation of performance timelines, and a relationship with my girlfriend that influenced work decisions. Marissa didn't blink. I hit send. The subject line read, Formal documentation regarding Robert Hale. She opened the message on her monitor, clicked the PDF, and read in silence. I watched her cursor stop on the annotated links between Robert's late-night dumps and the chats from Kara's thread. She scrolled back, checked timestamps, and looked again at the forwarded reports. Finally, she closed the file and folded her hands. Thank you for organizing this so clearly. We will open an investigation immediately. Effective now, Robert's access will be suspended pending review. Your departure will not affect your reference." "Understood," I said. I shook her hand and walked out. No speeches, no scene. In the elevator, I looked at my reflection and felt nothing dramatic. The work was done. That evening, I carried the small box from my desk into the apartment. Lillian was curled on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She glanced up. "You're home early." "It was my last day," I said, setting the box by the door. "Oh, right." She turned back to her screen as if it didn't matter. I stood there a moment, then said quietly, "Lillian, I know about you and Robert." The phone slipped from her hand. Her face drained of color. "What are you talking about?" I saw the messages. On the laptop. Every joke, every plan, every time you laughed at me with him. She shot to her feet. "You had no right to read my private messages. That's insane, Matthew. And Robert had no right to sabotage my career while you conspired with him." My voice didn't rise. It stayed level. "The difference is, I have proof. HR has it now." Her lips parted. Panic flickered in her eyes. "What did you do?" "I told the truth. With evidence. Robert's done at Northbridge." She pressed her hands to her head. No, you can't just—" "He promised—" She stopped herself, then tried again. "We can work this out. You and me. Forget him. I made a mistake." "It's too late," I said. "You have 72 hours to move out. The lease is in my name. I'll give you until Sunday night. That's fair." Her face twisted with fury. "You're throwing me out? After everything I gave you?" I picked up a small overnight bag I had packed earlier and slung it over my shoulder. "You gave me betrayal. I'm done. 3 days, Lillian." "Where are you going?" she demanded. "A rental. I won't spend another night here." She tried one last card, her voice cracking. "I have nowhere else to go." "That's for you to solve." I walked to the door, leaving her standing in the living room, her world collapsing around her. The silence behind me was louder than any argument could have been. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed with a call from Diego. "Matthew," he said, his voice low, "it's official. Robert's gone. The termination memo went out this morning. Gross misconduct and breach of confidentiality. They didn't even try to dress it up." I thanked him and hung up. That was all I needed to hear. Meanwhile, Lillian hadn't gone quietly. The 72 hours I gave her turned into a barrage of calls, texts, and voicemails. First came the screaming, "You're ruining my life." Then the bargaining, "We can fix this. Please talk to me." Then the guilt, "You're cruel. I have nowhere to go." I answered once, short and final. Any further communication goes through my lawyer. After that, silence on my end. A mutual acquaintance filled in the gaps later. Lillian had shown up at Northbridge looking for me, causing a scene in the lobby until security escorted her out. She even called Signal Flux Labs' public line, demanding to speak to me, only to be told there was no physical office. Her attempts to chase me down left her humiliated. When I returned to the old apartment with 2 friends to collect the last of my furniture, Lillian was stuffing clothes into bags, eyes red and wild. She muttered angrily about Robert abandoning her, about him cutting her off once the investigation hit. She looked small, cornered, nothing like the woman who once smirked at my expense. For the first time in years, the air around me was quiet, and I realized how much I needed that quiet. Life settled into something simple. My days at Signal Flux were steady. Remote meetings, clear goals, recognition without games. My manager talked about her garden more than office politics. It was ordinary, and that felt like gold. One morning, an email arrived from Marissa Boyd, the HR director at Northbridge. Just one line. "Thank you for the documentation. It helped us address a significant issue. Wishing you success in your new role." I read it twice, then archived it. No satisfaction dance, no gloating, just confirmation that the truth had landed where it needed to. Lillian tried one more time. A long message, half apology and half accusation. "You abandoned me. You ruined us. But I still love you." I didn't open the attachment she sent. I deleted it. At night, I sat in the armchair by the window. I thought back to that Sunday afternoon when I saw Kara's message pop up on the laptop. The shock, the cold calm that followed. I had wanted rage back then, something dramatic to match the betrayal. But what I gave them was worse. Precision. Robert lost his career. Lillian lost her comfort. and I walked away intact. People like them build their own trap. All I did was document it and hand the rope to the right hands. I leaned back. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for anything. No promotion, no approval, no false promise. The story was over, and I had moved on. Thank you for watching.